So I see more progress have been made on the Nazareth wing. Looks beautiful in here. Yes, I've seen improvements. They need to fix this bridge. So, according to what I've been hearing, by the end of the week, good evening, Kósmos Church. Jesus Road Productions here. So we're doing a news update on the Bethlehem wing, and it looks marvelous. So, do spiders sleep? No, I don't think so, because they never seem to sleep. So, here's what is happening now. So, Kósmos Church is, of course, taking a turn. So, after intense negotiations, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries, which of course is the new parent company of Kósmos Church, has decided to officialize itself as a, parent company of Kósmos Church. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with the role of Kingdom of Heaven Ministries in Kósmos Church's life. So, what is Kingdom of Heaven Ministries? So, in times past, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries was almost like a ghost. It never used to do anything. It was just, a figment of the church's, imagination. It just said, oh, we're just here to watch the church. We're just here to supervise activity. Well, not anymore. Because things in BIOS have gone so awry in the past 2 years, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries is now a new, basically, covenant ministry that is designed basically to put BIOS where BIOS needs to be. Now, usually churches are designed to put ministries in place, but because ministries can be expansive and created for basically a purpose, like a wrench, you think, you could use a wrench to fix a bolt on a car. Well, this ministry is being used to fix BIOS. So, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries is being used for just that. And with that being said, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries is now going to monitor test scores, monitor attendance, monitor finances, monitor politics, and pretty much all governmental affairs of Kósmos Church. It is also going to establish a new political structure of what the church is responsible for and not responsible for. So, this sign is crooked. I don't know why it's crooked like this. This is the last keep notice to the public sign. This is the last remnant of BIOS Baptist Church. And I do say a terrible past and a terrible era that is gone. And let me say before I go any further that something is happening here. There is going to be a lot of change. And although the changes may not be to everyone's liking, there is going to be a lot of them. So you see, here is what happened. So when the church was renamed Bios Baptist Church in 2017, there was a new Congress formed called the Continental Congress of Bios Baptist Church. This Congress failed to reform the church in the way that was hoped. A dictatorship was formed under the leader. I forgot who the leader's name was. It was not the headmaster though. It was not the headmaster. I do know that the dictatorship was formed under a theologian. And I do know the goal of having this theologian be the sole person in charge of all the rules would hopefully bring reform to the church. But it didn't work. It did not work. And this dictatorship was named Courts of Nazareth. Wallace Penton, thank you. The name was Wallace Penton. So Wallace Penton's dictatorship didn't work. And when that fell through, Courts of Nazareth came in and out, in and out, in and out. It died down. I mean, Courts of Nazareth died down. Bios Baptist Church and Courts of Nazareth, it was a legacy. They were unstoppable together, but it died down when all the employees got sick of it and just left. I mean, they walked out seemingly in one day. In one day, everybody just walked out of the church and then took the members with them. So they basically coaxed the members out of the church and then they proceeded to leave. So it would have worked if Pastor Sinclair, at the time headmaster, had listened to the suggestions of the chief chief leader, Wallace Penton. But no suggestions were listened to, especially when it had came to the symbols controversy that had went on for almost 2 years. It would have worked. It would have stood a lot longer. It probably would have been what was running this church to this day. And then you had the existing form of government that is now being challenged. You have the democracy and monarchy that is officially called government. So the democracy and monarchy, which the monarchy has all the power, basically we call it almighty power. That means they have all the power to do whatever they want. Nobody can tell them what to do. That would be the chief of the Board of Education. Nobody on the board has power but the chief. But the chief of the Board of Education has power. But when the chief is not present, the board together has all the power. So that's what that means. The head monarchy. And then now you have a House of Representatives and a Senate. And then every department is entitled to have a representative, as well as a financial representative, and as well as a chief or that pastor, which is to be called chief, or a warden if it's a non-public department, which can also be called duke or archduke, because duke is assistant to the archduke. So with that being said, new departments such as these and new roles started taking the church by storm. But it failed. It's slowly starting to fail because all this confusion in the church led to split ups, led to people can't even remember who they are, and led to people failure to recognize titles and overstepping boundaries in the church. So simple, not even remember where boundaries are, cause issues. So now the system was simplified with a final last-ditch attempt by the departments on a local level. On a local level now, everybody had their own reform. Yes, notice I said on a local level. Nobody came together and said, let's fix this church. Everybody said, let's fix my department. Let's fix my department. Nobody said, what about the whole entire church? So this not thinking about the full church, the church as a whole. Nobody said, what about God's church? Everybody's thinking about their own department. It's everybody man for themselves. And this thinking is what caused Pastor Sinclair to step in and say, let's bring everybody together in a meeting room and let's reform the whole church and let's blend everybody together. That hardly didn't work. It worked for about 2 weeks, then it failed. After 2 weeks, things started to fail during the third week with certain departments in the church because of bickering and primarily because of the staff. The system was okay, but the departments were not. So with that being said, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries was formed by our very own in order to take over the church from an outside angle and manage everything and come in. And now representatives would no longer be affiliated with the church. So anybody that's managing finances, anybody that's managing departments would not be affiliated with Kósmos Church, but would be affiliated with this independent company called Kingdom of Heaven Ministries. And they're going to send their pastors, their deacons, their wardens, and their chiefs into BIOS to manage the church. Since BIOS cannot run its own church, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries is going to send their pastors, their deacons, and their chiefs in to manage it for them. And I don't know what everybody has to say about it, but all I have is the story of how it got to this point. It's been 4 years, and I do agree that there has been a lot of procrastination. There has been a lot of waiting. There has been a lot of issues. There has been a lot of inactions that has led to this. And I do agree that some outside management is probably an automatic management, because a lot of this is going to be computerized too. So some of the departments would simply be ran by computers. Now this is all government, this is nothing. So nobody's going to actually be managing the church's classes. Nobody's going to teach the classes. Nobody's going to change the curriculum. Nobody's going to pull Bible verses. They're just going to teach they're just going to enforce the rules. They're not going to make the rules. They're just going to enforce the rules that BIOS is making. What they're going to do is basically make sure that everything is going right. This is almost like policing the church, is what they're going to do. Police BIOS, since BIOS can't police itself. And make sure that money is going in the right place by taking over BIOS's finances. And another thing that's going to be done, and I know departments are going to hate this, is group departments together. Because see, one thing departments are nitpicky about is they don't want to collect money for another department. They really don't. Whatever money this department collected, what should go back into this department, unless for the event that it is taxed. So that's where the computers will come in. So all the departments in the church will be linked, and taxes will be ordinanced, and you're going to have 3 levels of departments. You're going to have all the sub-departments, and then you're going to have all the mainstream departments, which holds the sub-departments, and then you're going to have the bulkhead departments. And then you're going to have just the church administration alone. So now, everybody except for the sub-departments taxes. Only the sub-departments do not tax, because the sub-departments do not have anybody to tax. The only people that they can tax is the congregation, which they don't tax them, they just wait for them to give them money. So here's how it works. When they donate, they keep a portion of that money and then pass a portion of it on to the higher departments. That money spreads out evenly to everybody in that pod, which is all the sub-departments and that department. So that is called a pod. All the departments that are listed, and then that money goes back equally. Now remember, each time a department collects money, they get a portion of it, and they get the largest chunk. So they get one piece, and then whatever is left goes back out equally. Because remember, they have to get their fair share. So that's all of it. And then now when they collect taxes, when the bulkheads collect taxes, they collect tax from all the departments underneath. That pod will now divide that money, keep half, divide it 4 ways, because they collected bigger taxes. When administration collects taxes, they basically collected from the whole church already. But remember, they're going to collect 50%, and then they're just going to give from both departments. Administration, they're going to collect from justice and justice and administration. Administration's finance. They're going to collect from justice and education. And then what they're going to do is add it together, keep 50%, and then give 25% back to each department. So with that being said, that's how taxation works. And the computer is going to automatically decide how that works, and then a staff member or a group of staff member is going to decide, based on Biosian law, whether or not that money should be adjudicated to that department based on the following factors: compliance with the law, test scores, and population numbers. So automatically you'll find out how much money you've earned But then how much you get will depend on your compliance. So I'm just telling everybody this to tell you, this really is, I'm sorry I made this a staff-only video. These are things that are going on in this church. And it is good because improvements are happening. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of sad to see that the church can't run properly without strangers having to fly in and take it over and run it for us. First of all, we're severely understaffed. Severely. Now, if you want a position with Kingdom of Heaven Ministries, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries is a county church. So they're not going to pay as well as the federal. So county churches are not necessarily churches. They don't have services. They don't have classes or temple. They also train pastors to go into the federal setting. So if you want training or anything of that sort there, you'll be sent there. So it's a county setting. And Bible Court is also going to be moved to Kingdom of Heaven Ministries because they're responsible for all the county paperwork that also happens within Kósmos Church. So Kingdom of Heaven Ministries is open. It's not open to the public, but it's open to anyone that wants to join, because this will give you opportunity. You can get paid for running BIOS, but you're not going to be a part of BIOS because you're going to go through Kingdom of Heaven Ministries. Now, you will receive credentials, but Kingdom of Heaven Ministries gives you training. That's what it does. It gives you a full training course. And what we're trying to do is have it so that you can be accredited and ordained by the state. So that's how that works. So you'll have the full training course, and it's a county church. So we do produce starting ministers. We don't go on the advanced level. So we just want to get your foot in the door. So that's what we want to do. You do have to be ordained sometimes for certain positions here. So we just get you ordained, and there are certain things that part isn't open yet, but we do produce pastors, ministers, and certain ordinances that you can produce. But one thing we will not do is have it to where you can, although it's perfectly legal, ask for ordination certificate. We write your name on one and give it to you. We're not going to have that. You have to come to class. So, yeah. With that being said, it's been over time. Have a good day and may God bless you.